Good morning, everyone. It is Wednesday, June 5th, and I thought that I haven't done a writing vlog in a long time because it's been hard for me to keep up with technology and stuff. So I thought I would take you along for the ride on a crazy writer day in the middle of the week with a 1.5-year-old and a 4-year-old in tow. And you can hear them now in just a minute, sweetie. We're in the middle of making breakfast, and then we have to get out the door. We're going to go to Walmart. I have some stuff I have to pick up to do some stuff around the house, and we have to go to the library, return some books, and get some new ones. The library is very big in our house. And then there's a special store in our town that sells produce just on Wednesdays at a lower price than our grocery store, so I have stopped by there as well. Then once I finally get to this afternoon, I will be able to write, but I thought, for those of you who are also stay-at-home moms who don't oftentimes get to see us make writing vlogs, it might be kind of fun to see what it looks like for real in the life of a mom who's also trying to be a writer. So, not trying to be, who is. So yeah, come along on the ride and let's see how this crazy writer day goes. Were not made for tall people. So I thought I'd take a minute while I'm getting ready and just talk a little bit about what I'm going to be working on in the month of June. And I've kind of already touched on this in some of my other update videos, but I mean, not everybody watches those, so. And plus with me, it tends to change a lot and very quickly. So I decided, after the month of May had begun, to change my plans from working on Snow Dust and my other super secret project in the month of May and just work on that super secret project. And this meant that there's still quite a bit of editing that needed to be done to Snow Dust before I could send it out to any beta readers. So that's really what I've got going on this month now that that drafting process is pretty much over. I didn't fully complete what I had planned for the super secret project, but I still wrote a lot of words. I don't even remember how many. It was well over 30,000 on that project, which is huge. So let's see, what colors do I want to do? I guess I'll just go with the basics today. So I feel like that was still a huge win, and I have something to work with now. So, either way, it ended up working out very nicely. So this month, I'm going to be splitting my writing time between finishing edits on Snow Dust. So it's beta reader ready. That's so hard to say. And then also working to kind of polish up what I did on Super Secret Project. My goal was to get half of it done, and I did. Like I said, I think I had like 1 chapter left to write, I think, or 2 chapters maybe. So I got really close to where I needed to be. Okay, yeah, I definitely need to get a new pan of this color because I use it all the time. But that's I'm still trying to figure out how to divvy up my time between the two, because I've never been editing. I've never had 2 projects I was trying to edit at the same time. Since it's editing and not drafting, it's going to be a little bit easier, but that doesn't necessarily mean it will be less time for each project. It'll still be a lot of time for each project. So that's the thing about multiple projects. I've heard people say don't do multiple projects. I've heard people say it's perfectly fine. For me personally, if I don't have multiple projects going on, not because I have to have lots of stuff to work on, but because for me it can be very easy to get discouraged working on just one story because of how long it takes to get from those first ideas to a finished product. I mean, it takes a long time, even for my shorter stories. it's still going to take, a fair amount of time. So that's why I always have other projects that I let myself kind of dabble with in the meantime. Now, with Snow Dust, obviously that's the one that kind of has the forefront of my focus this month, because that is the one that will be coming out next, right after I re-release Littlehead. But I still want to work some on this other project as well, because I don't want to wait until I have no more time at all. I probably should be focusing on getting Littlehead ready. So those are my thoughts on that right now. How do you guys handle multiple projects at the same time? I'm considering doing a video on it, on how I do it. But I'm very curious, how do you guys handle doing more than one? Do you believe in it? Do you believe that it should not be done? Does your personality demand it like mine? What are your thoughts on it? Let's see. Okay, 2 more items, and I'm good to go. Did you guys look at the size of this carrot? I am in shock. I didn't know that they made carrots this big. I'm a little bit in shock. Got our quarters, we can do our laundry. Woohoo! Okay, so errands are run, breakfast and lunch are out of the way, Kaylin is napping, Trudy is listening to a book, an Audible book, and I am finally free to come and sit down and write. Basically, the way that I try to set up my schedule right now is that I do as much of my housework in the morning as I can, and I try to spend as much time with the girls as I can. And then I have the afternoons. That's kind of mommy's time. So I usually have 1 to 2 hours to myself. The first hour is usually Kaylin's napping time, and then when she gets up, I let them play together while I do a little bit more work on writing. I'm not sure that I need that much time today. And also, our apartment swimming pool finally opened up. It's June, and they're just now opening it up. So we're going to go and take a nice splash in there if the weather holds up. It's been very rainy lately. We'll see if the nice weather holds up. So let's get started. I am working on editing the super secret project today, but I have some more fun things planned for a little bit later once this next part of this chapter is done, and I want to take you guys along for that as well. And you guys have probably seen this all over my Instagram, but this, oh my gosh, this thing is a lifesaver. You know how when you're doing your first draft and it sounds so terrible, but you just have to get the story out on page, so you kind of just bleh, and there it is, and it's just like this nasty mess. This cleans it up so fast. Seriously, I was sitting down to draft, and you know how you have your catchphrases that or not your catchphrases, but what do they call them? Crutch words. You have your crutch words as a writer. So for me, I use actually a lot. I use, words I use words a lot. And this helps you to keep from doing that. So especially when it comes to things like physical actions during dialogue. You know how you get stuck on ones like she nodded, he sighed, her brow, the brow furrowing and all that. This takes that out right away. So for instance, if I had a character who's nervous, normally you would talk about them shifting their weight from one foot to the other, maybe scratching at their neck. This has so much more. So lack of eye contact, quick breaths, eyeing exits, bouncing your knee if you're sitting, repeating your gestures over and over again, having you tingling in your fingers or toes. Then it has internal sensations. So if it's the POV character, you can add things like quivery, twitchy muscles or a loss of appetite. It has mental responses like the desire to flee. It has long-term responses for this emotions and signs of the emotion is being suppressed, what it can escalate to, what it can de-escalate to, associated power verbs like babble, chafe, chatter, dart, fiddle, fidget. So instead of just saying over and over again that this character shifted their weight and that character scratched the back of their neck, I have all of this to to draw from, and I've only missed, I think there was like 2 emotions. I think shy I looked for, and it wasn't in this one. But I mean, come on. It has how many? It has 130 entries. Now this is the 2nd edition. But I cannot recommend this enough. Like, I'm not being paid by anybody to say, I'm just saying as a writer, get this. If you hate your first drafts because you feel like you can't write them well, get this. They have a whole line of books. I'm actually planning on eventually having an entire shelf of these because if the rest of them are this helpful, yeah, I'm getting them. Okay. Another tool that I use constantly when drafting and while editing is thesaurus.com, because I used to have like an actual like thick thesaurus that I would flip through. I don't do that anymore. I'm already on my computer typing. I hop online and I go to thesaurus.com, and I'll leave it in the description box below. But it's so wonderful when you find yourself using those crutch words, especially when it's not like an emotional reaction, like in the emotions thesaurus. You can just hop online and say, okay, I don't want to say, frazzled. I've already used that word twice. What else can I say? And you can just type it in and it will come up with the whole list of synonyms. And a lot of times you can find out a word that actually better describes what you're trying to tell through that word. It's a great way to help with the whole show not tell thing. Okay, writing is done. I have edited all that I need to edit. And I think I heard Kaylin in there, so I will probably hop off the computer for a few minutes. But right now, I have something else that I want to get started on, and let me show you. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that printer going on in the background, but I am printing stuff off. Sorry, my phone is doing weird things. But I'm printing off some aesthetics and some mock book covers and other photographs and quotes and things from my current WIPs. Wow, my daughter just handed me this one. It is yellow. It's not supposed to be yellow. So I have to reprint it. But I picked this up while I was out and about because, you never only get what you have on your list. Yeah. And yes, and I am going to make, for the first time ever, a vision board for my WIPs. Yes. So I want to put all these things on my vision board, put it up over what I call my little writing space. It's really just a dresser, but I put my printer up there, I have my writer books up there, and I've got this giant wall that's completely blank above it. So I want to put this vision board there so that I can look at it every day and just be inspired by images and quotes and the beautiful titles of my books, just to get me going when it comes to my need for creativity in writing and the need to persevere and to remember that someday these are going to be real books that people are going to read. And seeing that vision board, I am hoping will help me to just get a better visual for what I want and, again, just keep me inspired. So obviously I can't show you everything because, spoilers a little bit, but you can see a little bit of what I'm going to be doing, so I will take you along for that. I finished it, but now I kind of have to stand in front of it so they give you little tiny headshots. I don't want you seeing what's on it. but I did it. And that is all for today's video. I got my writing in, I got my vision board put together and put up on the wall. Just looking at it now, oh, so nice. I'm going to put some more stuff on it, obviously, later. Half of the board, well, more like a fifth of the board, is for my super secret project. You see yourself? And then, of course, the rest of it is for the fairy tales. That's why I can't really show you any of it because I have like two, yeah, I have two teasers. Yeah. Yes. Yes. I have two teasers for Little Hood and Snow Dust that everyone has already seen that I could show you, that I did show you. But everything else is either aesthetics or mock covers or something that nobody else can see, and especially book titles for the upcoming fairy tales. So, sorry I couldn't include more about it. Anyways, to wrap up this video, it has been a very productive Wednesday in the life of a stay-at-home mommy writer with a little crew to watch out for. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to sign off now, and I hope you all have an amazing rest of the weekend writing. All the information you need to know about me, my books, and everything else is in the description box below. You good? And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!